How long has this been in the making?
I've been thinking about it for a while. It's definitely been a thing I wanted to do because I don't know I've got a lot of inspiration from Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Actually, don't know.
Joe Rogan. Okay, well you definitely listen to his shit because
Does he just podcast?
yeah he's got probably the most successful podcast in the world. Like hundreds of millions of people
Really?
listen to it.
Fuck.
Like every day. It's great. He does like 4 or 5 podcasts a week, and he's a comedian. He commentates UFC. He was commentating on the fight.
What?
Yeah, that
Okay,
was him.
yeah,
In the middle, that was him, Joe Rogan.
That's
And
sick.
when Derek, I don't know if you saw the Derek Lewis fight.
No.
Okay, so that was a fucking mean fight. He came up,
I think
he
he
knocked him out, and like he was like, my balls are hot and shit. It's like I understand.
That's mean.
And
That's sick.
yeah, and Joe Rogan's definitely like a favorite for like commentators
Okay.
and stuff like that.
So what does he really talk about? Just anything.
Anything. He gets so many interesting different kinds of people.
True.
Like
So it's really easy to talk.
It could be a psychologist, it could be a doctor, it could be hunters, it could be comedians, actors, all kinds of shit, you
That's
know?
mean.
It's honest, like I've learnt more from his podcasts than I ever learnt from school.
Really?
Yeah, like honestly, I have so much information about just diet, fitness,
Yeah.
just life, mentality, hard work, all this kind of shit, and it's opened
Yeah.
and like broadened the horizons for me on
True.
things that you can do.
Because you just started doing this when you were just doing your work. You just listened to podcasts, eh?
Yeah,
That's
I
how-
literally
that's just
listen
how it
to
started.
podcasts every day. Like it's kind of like an addiction for me. Then sometimes when I'm like when I'm not feeling 100%,
You just listen
and
to
and like especially when I like wake up in the morning and I've got work really early, and I'm like fuck, this is just gonna be shit. I just throw on my headphones and I just play a podcast.
Yeah.
I just forget. I just focus on that, and I
Okay.
just take in the information. And it just kind of takes me to another place while I'm
Yeah.
kind of like doing my thing, you know.
Yeah, true. Well, you have to send me some, bro.
I will.
'Cause,
I'll
like-
send you some of the good ones because like I listen to all of them. Like most people who listen to these podcasts, they only listen to certain ones because they have certain like interesting people on it.
Yeah.
Like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
Fucking Elon Musk was on a podcast.
Yeah.
You may have
Yeah.
seen the meme.
Yeah.
Like him like smoking the joint, like him puffing on the fucking blunt.
I think I did.
Yeah, it was all over fucking Instagram and Facebook. But that was on his show.
Oh, I did see it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
The whole time it's like
No
he
way.
was like, what do you want to? He was like messing with his brain by like talking
Yeah.
all this crazy shit about like fucking Neuralink and about his like goals to like make an electric plane and all this kind of crazy
It's got
stuff.
crazy shit. Yeah.
Like, and he was like, "Fuck, I need to get this is crazy. I need to get high for this." He was like, "You want to go?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Is it legal?" I was like, "Yeah, this is California now."
Is it
Fuck it,
legal?
right?
Yeah.
And apparently, the stock of Tesla tanked like fucking $20 million. It might not even be 20 million. It might be like $2 billion that day. It recovered really fast.
Yeah.
But like,
Still, that's pretty
that's
funny.
That's like imagine that. Like that's an accolade for a podcast to fucking crash a fucking stock that bad. You know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, but. Yeah, Joe Rogan definitely drawn a lot of inspiration from him, and like that's also like with comedy and shit. Like he's one of my favorite comedians. He actually makes like me laugh. There's a lot of comedians that are like
They're funny.
They're funny, but like they're kind of like
Yeah.
they're not my humor, you know, because they're popular for a reason, right? So people think they're funny.
Yeah.
But it's just not my cup
True.
of tea most of the time. And most of his friends are all fucking really funny, so I follow them too. So he has an interesting friend group. He has good friends around him, and his way he treats life is very like focused and like, but still leaves enough room for play and family and everything. Like it seems like really balanced.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have time for bullshit. Like he doesn't like doing shit he doesn't want to do, and he's obsessed about the things that he does like and does
That's
do.
mean.
He's like a bow hunter. he fucking like he likes pool too. Like one of the reasons why I got really into pool was because
he was into
it was
it.
him. I already liked pool before. Like I knew he played pool, but like I was like, yeah, like he described it in a way that it's like it's just like, oh, that makes sense. It's like with pool, it's like it doesn't matter if the ball is 2 inches away from going in the hole or a millimeter away from going in the hole. It's not going in the hole. It only counts it when you get in the hole, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like, I kind of like things like that, you know? It's kind of black and white in that sense. It's either in or out, in or out. So, yeah. I just think that what he brings to the world, like in my personal opinion, I think everyone should listen to his podcast because I've learned so much just about like perspective with the people that he brings on, like just, and like it's not only just these high grade like scholars or actors. There's some people that he brings on that have had the shittest life in the world. There was this guy he had on, I forgot his name, but he was wrongfully imprisoned for a rape/murder.
No way.
For 22 years. He was on death row for 22 years.
And it wasn't even him.
It wasn't even him. And the only way he got it got reappealed and he got let out was because the technology came about that they could actually DNA test the weapon.
I actually think
it wasn't him.
I actually think I saw that on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think there's a
there is a video. I think there is a documentary.
There's a whole series about it of this guy. People still.
It happens to a lot of people. It happens a lot, to be
Fuck
honest.
yeah,
It's not just one person.
That's so depressing. Imagine just getting told like you're going to prison, and then you're like,
But it wasn't me.
"It wasn't me," and they're like, "You sound like every other guy," and you're like, "But legit, like
That's what
that would
everyone
honestly."
says.
I'd freak out a little bit, bro.
Yeah.
I'd freak out because I'd be like, "I have such a good life. I don't want to go to prison for something I didn't even do." Like,
exactly. And once you put someone in prison for 22 years on death row, like, they don't come out the same person.
They don't.
They're completely different. He was like 19 when he went in. Fucking comes out fucking a fully grown man, you know? Like, doesn't even know really how the world works. Has to completely acclimate to this culture and the society that he has really no clue about, other than what he sees on TV and what he hears from like visitors, if he gets any visitors, or like from what other people are saying, or people that are coming in through the prison fresh.
yeah.
You know?
I think like the thing that gets to me is just, so he went in 22 years ago and he remembers how he saw everything.
Yeah.
When he comes out, everything would be different.
Dude.
20 years. Think that's longer than we've been on this planet.
He went into prison like sometime during the 90s. So he went into prison fucking calling his mum on a cord phone, and then he comes out, and now we have fucking phones that sit in the palm of our hands, and like that have full screens on them that touch. Like, it's crazy the amount of technology that has like the progression that it's made in the last 20, 30 years in that kind of way.
Yeah.
But he'd probably like the first mobile phone to him was like this fucking Nokia brick. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is crazy. Fucking pull the aerial out." Pull the aerial out. Fucking try to look for that reception. But it would be a completely different world, and that's the kind of things that make you put you in perspective and be like, yeah, my life isn't that bad at all. You know, I have it way.
Fuck yeah.
I like, because people get down and people get sad all the time, and like, it's sad, but a lot of people like consider suicide even at a young age, and even if they live in a normal nice suburban neighborhood in a nice area, you know, they consider these things, but the perspective is everything, because like they haven't been taught that other people actually have lived like this, you know. And if they do see other people living like this, it's all through a TV screen, it's all through a phone, an app on your phone, it's all through articles and shit. So you never really get a first-hand experience unless it actually happens to you.
That's true.
And that's another thing that's like wrong with the world.
Yeah.
Because you know, like with the Paris attacks that happened ages ago, and like I'm pretty sure there was another fucking shooting that happened like a couple of weeks ago.
Probably.
They keep on happening, especially in America. You know, no one really they put their fucking pray for fucking Paris, pray for the shooting on their, they change their fucking Facebook profile pictures and shit like that. Yeah, it's all good and well to like send your message, your heartfelt message, and fucking like say that you're with
care.
them and you care, but in the long run that doesn't really help, you know. And but a lot of people do that to make themselves feel better, to make them feel like it does help them, you know. So it's a tricky thing, this world, because anything can happen
at any time.
At any time, and unless something horrible could seem funny too, because personally I think everything is funny
in its own way.
Everything is funny, like you just have to say it in the right way to make it funny, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, because if you're making a shitty joke, it's a shitty joke, and then people can take it the wrong way. But if it's funny, it's funny, you know. And not everything you say that's supposed to be funny or that is funny is not what you mean, you know.
Yeah.
So it can be taken into all sorts of contexts, and like with the Middle East, that's just, we don't know their way of life because they've been brought up in a completely different world, in like Islam with their religion, and like with like the Western world's religion is like Christianity, Catholic kind of thing.
Yeah.
Jesus was supposed to be this guy who was, you know, all loving, all like pure and shit like that, when Muhammad was a fucking warlord. Literally. He was a warlord, and there couldn't be two polar opposite, you know, things. And like, we're on the different sides of the globe, believing in completely different things, and these ideologies are like really, they're all bad in their own way, but can be good depending on who's you know, broadcasting those messages
that's true.
in a good light, you know, because people will say you gotta fucking like kill these people or like suicide, like take suicide bombers for resistance. You go fucking blow up this hospital, you go to fucking the heaven, and you get your fucking 72 virgins, which apparently like the 72 virgin things, it's like, it doesn't in Islam, in the Arabic language, it doesn't mean specifically 72 virgins. It means a lot. It just means a lot of virgins. But it just says, it just doesn't mean a specific amount. It just means a lot of fucking virgins. So it's not, when white people think about it, it's crazy. When white people think about it, it's like, oh, they want fucking 72 virgins and shit. But no, they just want they just get a lot of them. They're like, they're not set on a number. They could get like unlimited virgins. So I'm sure.
You reckon if they were wherever they live, let's just say, and they ask for like sauce, do you reckon they just say 72?
70. Can I get a lot of sauce?
Can I get a lot of
72 sauce? I don't know. There's definitely discrepancies between the languages. You know, it's like fucking. There's words in the South African language that it's like I know that there's with grandchildren. It's only grandchildren, not great grandchildren. It's only one thing, right? Yeah. So
it's pretty hard to explain. You'd go like my grandmother of the grandmother. Like,
There's no such thing as great. There's no real translation for great grandchildren in the South African language. It's kind of like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's odd.
It is. The thing that is weird about my language, especially Afrikaans, is like, it's so small. If you really think of it compared to like the big ass languages like Chinese, English and stuff. If someone was brought up in an Afrikaans house, they would still use English words. Yeah. Because that's just...
You have like filler words.
Like, it's kind of like... There's an Afrikaans word, but it just makes more sense if you say it in English.
Right.
But it's just that one word.
Yeah.
And... Yeah, it's interesting for me, honestly. Especially coming to New Zealand and having to change up my language, which I was pretty easy at compared to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I don't know I wonder which language lends itself to learn English better. Maybe South African is, because you use those like filler words.
Yeah, I'd say because kind of like the alphabet, the sentence structure,
yeah, definitely.
all that's the same.
If you're like Russian, you know,
Oh,
you get
bro.
those fucking zero with a line through it.
It's game over.
Like
It's game
fucking
over.
U with 2 dots on the top.
Yeah.
E with a dot on the top. Just all kinds of fucked up. They just like went fuck natural letters. You know, like
We're going our own way.
We're
Fuck
gonna
this
fuck
shit.
this shit up. You know,
Hard.
make it our own, because Russian's a fucking crazy fucking language. You know?
I want to go to Russia.
Dude, it'd be fucking sick.
It'll be mean.
I'd go everywhere.
I think the first thing I'd do if I go to Russia is get a dash cam.
Yeah, bro.
Just
Definitely,
get a
bro.
dash cam.
Everyone has a dash cam, bro.
Literally.
They keep on having like people trying to fucking throw themselves onto the road trying to get insurance claims. That's what it's about.
Like a person.
Yeah. They, like the reason why everyone has dash cams
Just so you
is because a lot of insurance fraud goes on. People like will fucking used to throw themselves in front of cars and be like, "Oh, you fucking hit me, pay me out, like give me the money, like
What?
like you hit
That's
me, I'm
mental.
suing you," you know?
Yeah.
But like now that they have dash cams, they can prove that this guy fucking jumped
Yeah.
out in front of your car and shit.
True.
And with like dash cams, other shit can come from it. You see all the kinds of like crashes, like
Fuck
crash
yeah.
complications. Most of it's from Russia, you know. It's crazy. And like the time that they had the meteor that come over, they had they had hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of different camera views of the fucking meteorite
Of
coming
cars.
through.
It's fucking crazy.
You can capture
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. It's crazy.
It's funny how many pages I follow that just involve like crashes. I don't know. I find it really
It's
interesting,
interesting.
to see
Yeah.
how someone fucks up that bad.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's also interesting because like back to perspective, you know, like you don't know, you definitely know if someone's dead, you know,
Oh,
if there's
yeah,
a
bro.
certain one, you know, like
Yeah.
okay, that motherfucker's dead. You can't
Yeah.
get ran over by a semi truck and live, you know.
Yeah.
You can't be like do 12 rolls and like fucking land on your roof and
Hard.
survive,
And just hop
you know.
out.
So, but like in that kind of way, I think like modern like media and stuff that's kind of desensitized
It
us to
is.
get kind of
It's-
shit,
it's
because you
fucked.
see
It's
like
honestly-
Fast and Furious, they just do massive explosions, cars falling out of buildings, fucking
Yeah.
flipping, and you know how many people would like. I think there's a YouTube channel that does it. They go onto movies and they do estimated death counts of like how many people would actually die in like Avengers movies,
Really?
Batman movies, fucking Fast and
No,
Furious
that
movies.
sounds really
Just
interesting.
the estimation about how many
Yeah.
people would die if that shit was to actually happen.
Huh.
It's fucking catastrophic. Like it's
Transformers.
really, really weird. Transformers
In the city,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, so many cunts are dead.
yeah, bro. Fuck.
That's trippy to think about.
So many. You don't have time to. You can't evacuate a city in a day, let alone a week, man. Like a city like LA. You know, LA is like the city. No, the whole of California is like 25 million people. That's Australia. That's the whole of Australia. That's pretty much the whole of Australia. You can take all of Australia and plop them into fucking
LA.
into the size of like California, LA, basically in the greater Los Angeles area, because Los Angeles is a big city with like because it connects like it's kind of like Auckland in this way scaled down version, because you know Auckland's a super city and like it's technically, that's what they call it. It's technically a super city because you have Manukau City, you have fucking North Shore City, like that's kind of like they kind of divided up into districts.
Yeah,
you know, that's why it takes when you go to Hamilton, it's just one
Big
main
ass
center.
place.
One main center. Hamilton's probably like the shittiest, the shittiest fucking city in New Zealand. One of them. Like, there's a lot of memes about that. No offense if you fucking live in Hamilton. You know, my parents come from Hamilton. You know, I'm fucking. You know, got some blood down there. Don't worry. But with Auckland, it's a really big place. If you fucking come like down, like you can get to hills and shit.
Yeah.
And like maybe around like there's some roads just. You can see the whole land. You can almost see the whole city stretch out.
Yeah.
On some, if you get up to a high place, and you'll be like, "Wow, that's as far as the eye can see." That's Auckland, and Auckland even stretches out all the way to fucking. It goes out to Kumeu, goes up to Warkworth. That's pretty much Warkworth's the end of Auckland.
Yeah.
Like, but
It's
it's
huge,
not
bro. It's
to people that live around there. It's not
not
considered
considered
Auckland.
Auckland.
You
It's
know,
not.
it's on the outer edges.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much. But
True.
yeah, it's Auckland City is what kind of people that don't live here like.
Well, you'd call this
Yeah, this is
Auckland.
Auckland. Yeah,
and this is
definitely.
probably how long from a city? Like, if you had to stand...
It's probably about 45 minutes, no drive, no traffic, no traffic.
No cars. 45-minute drive.
Yeah, 30, maybe 40, 35-minute drive, no traffic. But like I can get from here to Drury, which is like way past everything.
That's like
in like maybe an hour 30, maybe an hour 40, no traffic.
That's far as fuck.
Yeah, it's so far, but like
with other cars on the road, bro.
Yeah, it could take 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But apparently we're complaining about our fucking traffic, and it's horrible. You know, it's definitely not good for us. You had traffic coming up here, and it's a Friday. Well, I don't know what time it is
3
now.
o'clock? It was like
3 o'clock. Yeah, that's fucking bad as fuck. You know, 3 o'clock, and like I'm lucky to leave work like from Manukau at 3 o'clock and like get here within like an hour and a half. You know, that's like 3 o'clock is a good time to leave that place. You know, to get home at a nice time.
Yeah.
You know, but if I'm not leaving at 3, I kind of want to leave at 6. So I'm working. I work that through that time.
Yeah.
Get that money and then fucking have an hour drive, hour and a half drive to my house.
The sick thing about my hours is I don't see a single car basically. Well, I leave at 4:30 or like 4:40. I don't see cars in the morning every morning. So I just drive to work. On the way back, I finish at 2:30. So like on 2:30 in Albany, dead. You just have mums driving around, doing their food shopping and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of the fuel prices? What do you think of that?
Oh, dude.
What's your opinion?
Okay, my opinion is it's horrible, right? It's shit on the level that for the average person, it's definitely affecting their way of living and their lifestyle and like what they can like provide to their family, whether it be food or like going out for dinner, like if you're a couple or like it's definitely affecting like the small things the little things that people enjoy in life, and that's kind of that in itself is slowly diminishing the quality of life for the lower middle class people.
True.
You know, and that's definitely not a street we want to go down. You know, it's not good for us. But like for me personally, I don't really spend too much money on gas. You know, I probably spend about $30-$40 on gas a week because I drive my work ute around through
true.
that. You know, I only drive my car like to and fro to the gym and like down to the
out.
shore when I go out. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't even look at the gas prices anymore. It's nothing I can do to change it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna put $20 in, and then when I need to fill up gas, I'm gonna put another $20 in.
You just got to
I just can't really think about it because like it's actually like it's stressful to like look at that price and be like fuck, and it's the kind of unneeded. You don't need to feel that that sadness. You know, it's not good.
The thing that gets to me is like, I love my car.
Yeah.
My thing is, when the hell am I gonna have to get rid of it because of fuel? I think about that, and I'm like, do I keep it? Like, do you just store it, or do you just sell it when like it just gets too much?
Well,
I don't know what to do. Like, I think it's probably when we're in our 50s.
Yeah.
It's we will have to have electric. It's just gonna.
Yeah, that's the thing. But eventually, I think if everyone converts over to electric in a certain amount of time, then inevitably the gas prices would drop because it's not much demand for it.
True. But then it'll just go back into cycle. People just get.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly, I'm not educated in that field. I'm not an economist. So, it could honestly go anyway. We are depleting the world of its natural resources and shit. And like, New Zealand's trying to be like plastic. You can see a lot of shit about plastic free nowadays, but using less plastic. But we should be investing hard into fucking biodegradable plastic and shit like that. And like,
that's true.
because it's such a viable option, and it works just as well as normal plastic, and you're gonna throw it out anyway. And if you need things that actually need normal plastic, you know,
It's
you can
still
have it. You
less.
can have it, but recycle it.
Yeah.
You know, and you reuse it, and that'll be fine. You don't need to pull more plastic out of the fucking. I think there's like trees and like rubber trees and oils and shit like that. All kinds of things that like you can make plastic out of, right? But making it's bad for the environment because of the resources that go into it. It's kind of like fucking Priuses, you know. When you get a Prius, there's one thing that's bad about fucking electric cars is that the batteries are so. The minerals and like all these little things that go into making these lithium batteries cost so much money,
And it's just as bad.
it's just as it's almost like blood diamonds in fucking Africa, you know. There's a lot of these minerals come from certain parts of the world which are impoverished and like war torn, and like a lot of people are like dying and like in really bad situations and like trying to get these minerals for these companies so they can make their green cars, where they're probably using fucking old diesel machines to mine the shit out of the ground, and like just to fucking get this fucking battery for a fucking guy that lives in the fucking, you know, in the fucking Hamptons in fucking LA, so he can drive around feeling good about himself, you know. But it's not really what it is, you know. There's definitely flaws in the system with everything, you know.
I think the main flaw is just money.
Yeah,
money has a big thing
money
involved.
has a place in this world, but money is definitely a detriment because people are greedy. People are greedy.
Fuck yeah.
And I don't know if this generation that we're in is less greedy or if it's more greedy, because we always blame the government and about how their old mindset and like the fucking people that supposedly run the world behind the government, you know, like the Rockefellers and all that kind of shit. You know, these old money corporations that fucking like made their money from oil and like gasoline in the fucking early days when those industries started up. You know the first fucking one of the first Model Ts was made out of hemp.
Really?
Yeah, it was the first one of the first Model T's body was completely made out of hemp and steel. It was lighter than steel.
Yeah.
It has like it's like, I don't know if this is accurate, but it's like 30 times stronger than steel, but 10 times lighter than it. Way more efficient.
What?
There's a video, you can search this up. There's a video of a guy hitting the fucking hitting one of the fenders with an axe. It's just bouncing off. Bonk, bonk, bonk. It's like bouncing off, not even leaving a scratch. And it's like, yeah, look, this is fucking mean. You know, like
that's crazy.
And it not only was made out of hemp, but it ran off hemp fuel. There was ethanol processed. There was biofuel made from hemp plants that the car ran off. It was pretty much a self-sustainable car because the amount of emissions that it produced out of the car was equal to the amount that the plant takes in. So the amount of carbon that the fuel burns and releases into the atmosphere would be the same amount of if the plants that you're growing to make that fuel, that plant would suck in the same amount of carbon. It's like a cycle, you know?
Hard.
So if, say, the fucking plant sucks in 30 grams of carbon, the fucking fuel you puts out 30 grams of carbon. It's a cycle. It's completely equal.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're not driving around hemp cars today is because of these old money, these people that ran the oil companies, the people that ran the paper mills, like this guy named William Randolph Hearst, who completely started the anti-weed marijuana like campaigns, you know. Marijuana isn't even a fucking the real word for fucking like weed. Bro. Marijuana came from a fucking Mexican tobacco plant. It was a Mexican tobacco plant, and the way that they ran it was, since it was like a Mexican tobacco plant, they correlate it to the Mexicans, and obviously Mexicans back then, they were thought as savages and
Yeah.
rapists and shit like that. They thought that they basically said that these Mexicans, these black people, they were smoking marijuana and then they were coming over the border or whatever, and they were raping and killing their women. That was on the campaign. You know, this is part of their shtick. That was part of their whole thing to make cannabis illegal. And since hemp is cannabis, they kind of like hit two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up.
It's like, I hate how things like that can't be bigger, because it helps so much in every possible way if it was.
Dude, New Zealand would be balling like a motherfucker if we legalized it, bro. We'd have so much money just like to put into schools. We wouldn't have like fucking kids with no shoes walking around South Auckland. You know, we wouldn't have fucking like kids going hungry and shit like that. There's a whole bunch of like programs now just to fucking feed kids whose parents can't afford to like give them fucking food. And there's a whole bunch of arguments saying like, if you fucking can't give your kid a ham sandwich, and you shouldn't even have a kid, right? That's a viable argument if you're willing to have it, but like,
You can't.
there's nothing wrong with fucking feeding these kids if we can find a way to fund it.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, at Pack and Save, which I think is pretty cool. Like, every supermarket does it. So, like, everything that gets, like, cut open, to say it's open for some reason, we like, scan it and just literally give it away. Literally just give it away. And normally, when I do it, because of my cast, I would literally, like, if there's something that's not even meant to be in there, and it's, like, fully fine, I'll just be like, beep, stir it into the thing. Like, there's so much stuff, like, literally, there's so much stuff that, like, even this girl that showed me how to do it, she's, like, honestly, just throw everything in it, straight up, like, because that makes someone, like, pretty happy.
Yeah,
if they
like
just
the
have
food bins and stuff like that. Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I don't know what they do with the eggs. I'm kind of curious.
I don't know.
But I don't think
That's
someone...
an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's all sorts of things, all sorts of little things that we could do to help out, you know, the community.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, look at like Colorado, you know? They've made more money, they sold more weed than fucking alcohol last year. Think about that. And there's more, and you think about how many liquor stores are on the fucking, everywhere, bro. There's everywhere.
Yeah, bro.
And there's definitely a lot of fucking weed stores out there, but there's nothing compares to the amount of liquor stores. Because it's not just liquor stores, it's supermarkets, it's gas stations. Because over there you can buy fucking hard liquor from gas stations. You know?
Can buy liquor anywhere you want.
You
just need a license.
You can get fucked up, and like you can literally get fucked up at every corner, everywhere you go. If you got $20, you know, you can go to any fucking corner with $20 and then buy a fucking liter of fucking whiskey or rum, whatever you want, and kill yourself on the spot if you wanted to. But if you have to go out of your way in places like New Zealand to go buy weed, and like buy like a shitty, like unregulated fucking tin fid, right? And nothing will happen to you because no one's ever died of weed, you know? Like, it's crazy. I'm not saying I'm against alcohol, because I fucking think it's sick, you know? It's fun as fuck.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. It lowers people's inhibitions, you know? It makes people be more comfortable with themselves in the moment, you know? And that's a beautiful thing, because, you know, like, I'm pretty much, if you would say this, like, all of the fucking 80% of the fucking in this world happens when people are drunk, you know?
Yeah, hard.
It's and fucking's great, right? So like, like why wouldn't you want alcohol to be still around, you know? And it's like, and you know, they know it happened when they fucking tried to ban it in America in like the 30s, maybe like 30s, 20s or something like that. It was a big uproar against. They could only do it. It was the gangs and shit. Fucking like took over it and just started bootlegging and like selling it and having like moonshine fucking operations in the middle of the forests and shit. You know,
it's still a thing.
You know how NASCAR was invented?
Yeah.
Fucking they souped up their cars so they could run away from the police because they're in the moonshine days.
Yeah.
They souped up their cars so they were really fast so they can get away from the police while running their moonshine all around the country. That's how racing NASCAR came about.
That's pretty cool though.
That's a cool.
That's pretty sick backstory.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for the prohibition, we probably wouldn't have NASCAR. And NASCAR's pretty cool. You know? And they're not only just turning left. It's pretty hard. If you're going 200 fucking miles an hour around a track, I'm pretty sure they only just introduced power steering. And back in back in like the 80s and the early days and shit, where they had no power steering, you had to be strong as fuck. You had to be concentrated.
Your right arm would be
just turning, just little motions, just a little bit of motion, just fucking going
right
around. It's fucking interesting, you know. It's, little things that are predominant in culture nowadays come from suppression.
Yeah.
You know, come from like oppression and stuff like that. It comes from things that you wouldn't expect it to come out of, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I like doing cool shit, and like that's why you gotta challenge ideas and stuff like that you've been grown up with, because not everything that's put in front of you in school or in like fucking on movies or documentaries is not necessarily true. It's just what people believe to be true.
Yeah.
There's certain things that are set in stone, like 1 + 1 = 2, you know? Like, there's things like that you can't really argue with, you know? You can't be a dickhead and try to change, like, how the how the word "the" is spelled, you know? Because it's pretty well established. But there's definitely things in this world that we need to take a step back and really look at it and see if we can,
alter it.
Improve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what?
Like weed is a big thing, because like that's a lot of people just think it's bad for you, and it's like it's not.
It's not right.
It's not.
Mindset.
Not, I wouldn't say it's best for you. It's not good for you. Fucking like when you're in your adolescence, when you're younger, there's not real studies though that can back that. There definitely is correlations to certain things, but since it's illegal, it's hard to study it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's only in the places where now it's become fully legal, they've started doing studies, and they just keep proving people wrong about certain things, you know. It's when you legalize something and you when you have the opportunity to research and actually do the research and find out the information about these things, you realize that it's not that bad. Or you realize that it's completely different to what the story was. Yeah. You know? Information is our friend. It really is our friend. And a lot of people are ignorant nowadays. Yeah. With a lot of things. It's kind of like with hunting. You know, hunting is like a big scary topic for people. It's makes people feel uncomfortable because they don't like the thought of animals dying. You know, and it's fair enough. No, we're humans. We're empathetic. We're emotional beings. We don't like seeing people things that live die. You know, when we look at we live with pets, for God's sake. You know, we live with animals. You know, but like if you have a cat, man, what are you doing? You're fucking feeding a fucking ground up pig that's fucking probably lived its life in a cage. You know, fucking that died just so your cat can eat it, you know? And even if you're a vegan and you have a cat, you're still fucking supporting that shit, you know? And even if you're a vegan, you know how many animals, and if you consider bugs fucking like life and like you care about bugs and shit, if you like vegans don't understand that like the amount of pesticides, the amount of traps that farmers put out for these rodents that come into their farms and try to eat their crops. Yeah. They have to kill these animals in order to produce these plants. They have to actually fucking, exterminate these things in order for them to make their living and get their product out there. Yeah. You know, so when you buy a fucking like a cucumber or a tomato from the fucking store, that's not guilt free, you know. Birds fucking like nest in these places, like ground nesting birds. They'll walk into this field, be like, oh, this is nice and like crowded, especially in cornfields and shit. Yeah. People are like, oh wow, this is a nice place to set up home, you know. It's like nice and like covered, got a good like canopy, so like predators don't come down and like attack from the top. You know, like fucking like wild fucking like possums and shit won't really come through here, and if they do, it'll be hard for them to find us. So they set up camp in these fields. But when these fucking combines come around and the fucking things that harvest these plants, they chew up all these animals with these things, and it's like, what's your line? Where do you draw the line on like where it's okay or it's not okay?
I think like the big thing is, well, in my eyes, what I see things as is like, we are the superior race. Like,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
like, if someone's gonna make money off something, but they have to do something bad to do it, like, you'll do it no matter what it really is. Like saying like getting rid of like a whole kind of forest, killing heaps of birds, just where they used to live, like just making birds go extinct.
Yeah, just like with getting wood from forests.
Yeah,
Like that. Yeah.
like, it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just
even if you're replanting the trees after, you're still destroying. Even if you're destroying the habitat, you're
fucking it up. But,
Yeah,
and
even
things like that will never stop. There's
Yeah.
nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Everything is. There's always a problem with something. It's just how serious
There's
it is.
always an underlying problem with everything that
Yeah.
humans do, you know.
Exactly.
And it's not just skin deep, and that's what people look at. You know, people that look at the things that's on the surface, and they'll be like, "Yo, this is right, this is wrong. I'm gonna stick with this." But the deeper you get into it, it's like
fucked.
Yeah, way more fucked than you could ever imagine.
Honestly, there's so much shit is bad for you.
And
like,
yeah,
if you think about it, there's
So everything gives you cancer nowadays, apparently, bro. Like,
yeah.
And like people think that whole grain bread's like better for you than fucking like white bread, but bread is just shit for you in general, bro. It's just gluten just processes into sugar in your body, no matter what kind of fucking bread you eat, bro.
I love bread.
Yeah, bro. Everyone loves bread. You know, it's fucking it's addictive, bro. It's literally addictive.
Is it really?
Yeah, because there's
sugar.
Yeah, like bad carbs and like sugar. It's so addictive. Try take 30 days off sugar. You'd fucking go through withdrawals, legit withdrawals. It'll be worse. Like, you go through more withdrawals than if you stop fucking. So like, I'm going through the sober October and shit, and I allegedly smoke. You know, sometimes on the, you know what I mean? Yeah, and like that, it's been easy for me. You know, I've literally had, it's all in the head. You know, it's all mental when it comes to things like that. When you're dropping that kind of shit. You know, it's mental addiction is way different to physical addiction. Sugar is a physical addiction. It's not a mental addiction. Yeah. You know, it may seem like a mental addiction because you're like, oh yeah, I want this fucking lollies or whatever. You know. Yeah. But like. Try take 30 days off sugar, you'll be having mad headaches, you'll be in a shit mood, literally feel like shit, you know, that's literally what it does to you, because your body is so used to processing it, and it's horrible for you, but like, we love it, you know, and it's in everything. And it's not even real sugar, it's from it's corn, it's like corn syrup, like, it's processed corn sugar, that's what corn is in everything. If you look at like everything on the back of your fucking like in the supermarket, go see if you could count how many things have corn in it, corn syrup and shit like that, processed stuff like that. You couldn't even, it's probably about 60% of things that are in there. You couldn't even fucking count it, you know? You couldn't even like fill up a list on it. You take too much time. There's a whole documentary about it called King Corn. I haven't seen it. I just heard about it on a couple of podcasts. Just about how about corn and what it's about it, how it's in everything, you know, and that it's not good for you. This is just, but it's like cheap, and they can put it in everything, and it's a way better than like sugar cane and shit and stuff like that, you know. Yeah. That's what's in normal Coke. That's what's in Coke. It's corn syrup, not sugar. It's like, it's processed corn sugar, not fucking real sugar. That's why like people like the Mexican Coke, because it actually has cane sugar in it. You know?
So it actually tastes.
It tastes a little bit different. Yeah. And I don't know if I think cane sugar is slightly better for you, but like it's still shit. It's still sugar. It's still shit. You know, it's it's a crazy world, and information is the key to enlightening the world about these.
But how much
kinds
can you
of
trust
things.
information? Like the source. That's
And that is the thing, because that's a big thing with the internet, because
anyone can
people would be like, oh no, I read it on the internet, like, oh yeah, fuck, I read that. Fucking Bill Gates fucking like funded money to like drain a lake in fucking Namibia or some shit. It's just random shit, like it could be anything that you can find if you search up something in the Google into the Google bar. If you like search up an opinion on, if you go into something like thinking that you're right and searching up a question like emphasizing the answer you want, it will give you the answer that you want.
Yeah.
If you go looking for the answers that you want, it will give you the answers that you want. That's why you need to look. You got to go down both lanes. You got to look on the opposite direction, on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Because you never really know. Because there's fucking crazy motherfuckers out there.
Yeah.
And there's ignorant people, and it's not even that they're bad people, it's just that they don't know.
Yeah.
It's
So with addictions, like let's think like cigarettes and weed and just anything you can think of that can be addictive.
Yeah. Whether it's physical or mental.
Yeah. Would you say, like, at what point would you know that it's physical over mental?
Okay, so yeah, physical is definitely like a feeling within your body. So like when I've never really been addicted to cigarettes.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, from what I can handle, you just feel shit when you especially if you like, and I don't know, maybe you can explain what it's like to fucking like need a cigarette, like what.
See that? That's the weird thing for me, because I started smoking because I just liked it when I was drunk.
Yeah.
And it kind of...
I like it when I'm drunk, but it seems to haven't translated over into real life yet.
And like, I think anything can be mental. It just depends how badly you want it to be.
It could be a double addiction, like mental and physical.
Like, if I bought a pack of cigarettes, I would buy it on a day that I know I'm going to go out to finish it. And so if I finish it, I'm like, okay, like I don't have any now. And it would kind of be like, I would want one.
Yeah.
One night, like a cigarette now would be good.
Yeah.
But, like, why? Do I need it? No, like, I'm just fucking sitting on the couch watching TV. Like, it's kind of like, it's one of those things, in my eyes, it's just another thing to do when, let's say you're driving. Like, I find driving sometimes boring.
Yeah.
So it's like smoking kind of changes your mindset a little bit, and it kind of makes it a little bit more...
You're doing something else,
yeah.
You're doing an activity.
And I think anything like addiction, I don't know, I've never been really addicted to something. Like obviously I can't just say that, because I'm sort of addicted to cigarettes. But if I really wanted to stop, I think I could. But my thing is, why do I?
Yeah, and also varies on people, everyone's different, so
yeah, exactly.
Addiction to you could be completely different to someone else.
Yeah, and like someone that I know, when I said addiction's a mental game, you can override it. He got back to me and he like freaked out. He's like, you have no idea what it is. Like, obviously him being severely depressed, anxious. He is addicted to weed. In no sense, but it makes him feel like normal. So it's good for him. But like he kind of went off of me for saying that it's a mental thing.
But then you gotta say, what is normal? What is normal? Because
for him in his own skin to be.
Yeah, but he wasn't. Did he feel normal before he even started smoking weed?
Yeah, that's very true.
But did he just feel like he was never normal?
Yeah, was he always distant? Yeah, it's so intriguing to me, bro. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like my sister studies psychology. I can so see why she does that. Because like I love to see how people think.
Yeah.
Like I know for a fact I'm just gonna one day just stop smoking, just to see if I can do it, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't have a reason to. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, there is underlying reason, because obviously it's bad for you.
Obviously.
Like, that's the one. That's
Obviously,
the reason. That's the
obviously.
reason.
No doubt.
Pretty much. That's the reason why everyone stops, because it's bad for you.
Yeah.
You don't stop because, oh no, it's not fun anymore.
But
like, you know.
Because I was at the skate park the other day and I didn't have any, and I saw this guy smoking, just sitting in his car, and I was like, "Hey man, like, do you reckon I can have a diary? I love it when I skate." Noting this, I haven't had one in like 4 days, so I was like, "Alright, I kind of want one." So I ask him one, and he gives it to me, and he's like, "Did you smoke heaps?" And I'm like, "Oh, like pack a week, maybe 2." And he's like, "Slow down." I was like, "Why is that?" And he's like, "You see what you're doing right now? Skateboarding?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're probably not gonna be able to do that again if you keep going like that." And I was kind of just like, fuck, like I don't wanna have an addiction that actually makes me like stop doing things.
Yeah.
Like
it physically affects you on the things that you want to do.
Like he hasn't surfed in 20 years because he can't.
Just do
Like,
fucking hard.
What the fuck? Like I don't want something that like slows me down,
Restricts you, yeah.
slows me down that much that I can't do something. Like if it got to the point to that for me, that's fucked. That's like I want to be able to, if I have a kid, ride a bike with him kind of thing. Like
fucking
not be like like I don't want to. You know, that's
yeah.
I can kind of see from my experience with my dad. He would like, let's say if we played with a ball, would play for like what
5 minutes.
5-10 minutes, and it's like that's mean. But me, I'm just like, yo, let's keep going, and he's kind of just like, can't really. And then like I never understood that.
Yeah.
But I can what this guy said, I kind of I don't know. I just pictured a lot of things. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is.
It's fucked.
It is, and like, it is a mental game. Addiction is definitely mental, but there are certain things like opiates and like hard things like heroin, all these kinds of things are literally like physical. You know.
Yeah.
The physical
It
can
overrides
override the mental.
Fuck yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You know. That's you got to get your mental to the place where you're strong enough to override the physical. You know. It's about flipping the switch on it.
But that's crazy.
And that's hard. That's hard as fuck. And it's hard as fuck. And I've never been really in that position, so I can't really speak about how it is. But all I know is that it can be done. It's because there's people that beat addiction every day.
Fuck yeah.
And there's also people that fall into it every day.
Yeah.
You know? But I know it can be done. So
Easy.
Why don't you give it a go? And if you fail, why don't you give it another go? And if you fail, why keep giving it a go? Because at the end of the day, people don't want to see you like the way you are. You know, people don't want to know that. You don't want to be the guy that everyone talks about. Like, oh yeah, he's doing this. He's always been like this. Yeah, that's just this guy. You know, that's just that guy. That's just like what he does. You know, but it's not that, and it sucks because it could be the people that could be closest to you, people that you love, people that you actually really deeply care about. But to a certain point, you don't know. You can't help them. You know, you gotta wait. You can only help them to a certain extent. You know, you can't be them for them. They gotta be themselves for themselves and fucking get it done. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work out. They're just gonna keep digging that hole deeper and deeper, and that's why I encourage everyone to do exercise and fucking, because exercise makes you feel way better. Like, if I stopped going to the gym, I would feel like such a shitty person. I injured my back maybe a month ago, 2 months ago. I didn't go to the gym for probably about a week and a half. Felt like shit the whole time. I just felt like a different person. Didn't feel like doing anything. Like, going back to the gym was hard. It was like, fuck. But after the first week, I fucking pushed myself through it, and then fucking by the end of it, I was like, fuck yeah, this is it. I feel so much better. I'm fucking, it's great, you know? And, like, being overweight and, like, all these little things, like, having a bad diet, being overweight, fucking doing all these things that are bad for you, they all accumulate and make your mindset and your depression even worse, you know?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
If you're gonna sit around all day doing nothing, then obviously you're gonna feel like shit, because you're doing nothing.
Hard.
You know, like if I couldn't even fucking imagine doing that. You know, it's fucking horrible. You like, and if you don't, especially like with environments that you surround yourself in, like you don't want to be sitting in a fucking dark room all the time. You want to go outside, see the fucking sunlight. You wanna be embraced by the world that you live in because it's beautiful.
Hard.
You know.
Yeah. I'll tell you something trippy. So my dad smoked from he was 16 to probably can't remember, like I think it was like 40, and he was literally just like, alright, I'm done, and just literally no plans, none of that quit line bullshit. He just went sober.
I'm not saying that quit line's bad.
No, fuck no. But like he, that's the cool thing about him. He challenges himself a lot, and I think that was like probably his biggest challenge he's ever faced in his life. Because he just started gymming. He just started like, running heaps.
Exactly. No.
But he's always been doing it.
Yeah.
But I think he started realizing that that's holding him back to actually be better at it. Because he used to run like 10Ks a day.
Yeah.
Come back and he'll be fucked. And like he's just stopped smoking and he's
challenging yourself and accomplishing things is one of the most important things you can do in this world. Because it gives you that feeling that can't be recreated in any other situation, you know? You know, Aiden, right?
Yeah.
He painted his hardtop. He got it bogged up and I sanded it down, primed it, and sprayed it, right?
Yeah.
And I could tell, I didn't even talk to him. I messaged him, but I could just tell that he was completely ecstatic. I can tell that he was so fucking happy that he did it. And you could, like, he posted on Instagram, was like something about, every, like, in life you got to accomplish things, and that's what there's always things to accomplish, right? And it's a never ending accomplishments, right? And that's what life is about, right?
Yeah.
It's something, I butchered it, but like I get it. Not exactly what he said, but like it's pretty much that idea.
Yeah.
But like and I was like, it's exactly what it is. You know, you got to have little things. You got to, even if you got to start small. If you're in a hole, you got to just, whether it's fucking making your bed, cleaning your room, fucking going outside just for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, fucking just, it doesn't matter how small you start, as long as you're increasingly upping the volume of challenge and you know, eventual accomplishment that you achieve from that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I could definitely tell that he was really stoked.
Yeah.
Because I literally probably saw it on every sort of social media device, I saw
Snapchat, Instagram.
I saw it on everything. I saw it on everything, which is this is cool. Yeah, really sick. Like,
I love shit like that.
And a lot of people do that. Like when they accomplish something, you can tell like straight away.
Dude,
they try to share it as much as possible with people.
Yeah. I installed my sub into my car, right, by myself. You know, I just watched one video. And I was like, okay, that's fucking okay. I can do it. and set it all up. Took me probably about a couple of hours. You know, set it all up, fucking connected everything. I was like, okay, sweet. Everything's like, all the cables are hidden. Everything's like,
that's mean.
Perfect and mean. Like, didn't really have to go over things again. And it's when I first started it up and put my song on, and it played properly, and it played first time, it was a fucking euphoria ran over me. I fucking was so happy. A big smile went onto my face. I was just like, fuck yeah.
That's me.
And that's the kind of fucking feeling that Aiden had when he fucking did that.
Yeah.
It's all about those little things, you know, and it's fucking amazing, you know. That's what life is about, you know. Literally, that's what life is about.
When I got my Subi, my head unit, it was so shit. Like, I had 2 speakers, no back speakers. It was just shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much mine. Yeah.
And like, the radio would just turn up itself, like, or just be driving, and the volume would just go max, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and it's like, I'll just be driving to school, and like, obviously I don't have that many songs queued, and then there'll just be that one song, like let's say "Sexy Back" by Justin Timberlake would come on, and your radio just decides, fuck it, let's blast it right now. Like, that's fucking, I don't want to hear that right now, that loud. So that, honestly, I just literally took it out, got rid of it, had no sound in it for probably 2 months.
Dude,
just listened to my car. I just drove it. It was mean.
I know
And
how
it
that
and it
feels.
got to the point I was just like, fuck this. Like,
Yeah.
I need
I know what
speakers.
dude, I had no fucking radio system or stereo system in my Corolla the whole time.
For what, 2 years?
Probably
2.5
2
years?
years.
I don't know how you did that.
I don't
Straight
know
up.
how I did it, bro. I had headphones and shit, but it wasn't the same.
It's never the same, bro.
It's not the same. Now that I have a fucking stereo system in my car,
It's
I can't fucking be driving around with
harsh.
headphones. And like headphones is not even like fucking safe, you know. Like apparently
It's
that's
not.
not
When you
fucking
did
safe
that,
to
I was like,
fucking do
what's
that.
he doing? I've done that.
No.
I did that to school heaps.
Yeah.
When I didn't have my radio.
Bro, I used to like I wasn't that bad when because I rode my bike, you know. I used to put one ear in because I knew that if I put 2 ear in, I'm gonna die on the way to school somehow, bro. Like fuck.
I think that's weird because on a bike, I think I put it both in. As bad as that is, not blast it.
Yeah.
But I want music.
Yeah, you definitely still want to be aware though.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
There is fucking helmets you can buy with like built-in shit like that.
Hey, obviously
They're expensive though.
that's see ideas like that, bro. If you can come up with an idea to make life easier.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everyone.
Ideas
like that is what everyone needs. You know.
Literally, ideas like that. Because I haven't gone to uni yet. I don't want to. But if I find something, I will.
Yeah, if you find a lane that you want to go down, and it needs uni, then you'll do it.
Yeah, but I'm kind of stalling. Because I kind of want to I have interests in making clothes, music, or make something like an entrepreneur kind of thing. I just I don't want to go to uni till I know what I want to do, but I want to make something for some reason. I want to. Obviously, heaps of people want to do that, just to make something and just make life easier and be absolutely filthy rich.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a goal in life.
Yeah, that's a goal.
Easiest way to the top.
Yeah.
And I cut corners. I've done that since I can remember. Honestly,
definitely. That's a big flaw I have too.
But I always if I can cut a corner, I will do it rather than taking the I've just always done it. Tests, I'll cheat if I could.
Yeah, same.
Every single thing I cut corners in
But that's the thing. Are you cutting corners with the things that you don't really like, or are you cutting corners? But because a lot of people they'll cut I know with things. It's not maybe this isn't a good example for myself because I'm pretty shit with this kind of thing. Because I cut corners with my bike, mad, right? And I didn't finish it, right? And it should have been a thing that I took my time with and did properly. But some people cut the corners with the things that they don't care about. Yeah. But when they find something that they do really like, then they fucking do it properly and do it the way that they want it to be.
Definitely.
You know? Whether it be your photography or designing or all kinds of shit like that. You don't really half-ass that kind of stuff.
With cutting corners, it's definitely things that either wouldn't affect me or that I don't care about.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's something that you really care about, like my sound system in my car, I really wanted to just master that so I don't have to go back to it because I know I'd rush that little thing. All my soldering to my speakers have plastic tubes over it so no water can get to it.
Yeah.
I went that took me a week to do and I felt really mean after it. But there's let's say when I did it in my first Subi, I just literally cable tied the speaker to the hole so it was dangling.
Yeah.
And so if I was turning a corner, it would hit the plastic and it was. But I didn't care because I was I'm not gonna have this car for a while.
Yeah.
So I just rushed it and literally just did that.
Yeah.
But school. Obviously, I'm not gonna do good in maths, so I'm obviously gonna cheat.
Yeah.
Because it's something that
I'm so
I'm gonna need it when I'm older, maybe.
Maybe.
But I need that label, that level 3 label, just to be able to okay, this guy did get through this class. I'm just saying I did it in a way that I shouldn't have, but I still got it. I still got the in it. If I get a job that I actually needed that, I'll go back and study. I'll study
exactly,
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Work on it.
Exactly.
But I just needed that label to get where I want to be.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up. I hate that.
That's kind of road I feel because I didn't do well at school at all, with that kind of shit. I had 1 year where I did well, and that was it, you know. And I lost complete because it's fucking it's a weird system, you know.
It's
not. it's not for a lot of people, and no wonder why so many people fail at it, because it's fucking
Fuck
shit.
it.
It's just boring. It's not inspiring. It's kind of just mundane and repetitive, and then it's like an indoctrination of a system that's not even gonna relate to the life that you're gonna live in the future, you know. And that in itself is just fucking shit, right? I've never seen myself working for someone in the long run. I'm working for someone now because I'm fucking young. Obviously, I got to put in some work to fucking build a base to be able to do the things I actually want to do, right? But I don't see myself working for someone else. I see myself working for myself.
Same. I'm pretty good at listening at like what I have to do, but like I'm better at telling someone what to do, like
directing and
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I was a supervisor for 2 weeks, I would literally do nothing and just tell people what to do. And I was actually good at it. Like I was actually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me realize that like I can't really be below someone.
Again.
Or even if I am, I'll have to know in the back of I'll have to know in the back of my head. Maybe I'll be in his position.
No.
But yeah. So, what's the plans with the Ford Laser?
Oh,
I'm curious.
I dream about it.
You've dreamed about it.
I dream about what
I want
it to look like, but I don't know. I don't know really what color I want to get it. For those who want to know, I got a 1990 Ford Laser. I got for $1,500. It's a 1.3 5-speed manual. It's had one owner for 25 years. Been serviced its whole life. It's pretty mint for what it is. Really nice interior. Dash is immaculate. And
so ugly.
It's the kind of car I want to keep forever and just like let the money accumulate as time goes on, because it's just on like the cost of being like a classic in like 20 years, you know. It's got that nice body shape to it, so it has like a lot of potential. I want to just get a good painted coat on it, and when I eventually in the far future, when the fucking 1.3 craps itself out, get like a nice engine, put it in it, and when I replace the engine, you know, paint the engine bay.
True.
Just make
just
it
tidy it up.
Just tidy it up, make it look mean. Just
show
that's
car.
Pretty much what it. Yeah.
Show car.
Yeah. Exactly. Just make it novelty. You know. That's pretty much what it gets down to. You know. Right now it's just a great car to fucking drive around. You know.
Hard.
It's fucking just cool. You know. It's not gonna come close, like in the next couple of years. But if I keep it and keep it in good condition, then definitely. It's gonna turn out the way I want it. It's just time and like money, and you gotta figure out how to get that money, kind of shit, you know.
Yeah.
Because if I had fucking tons of money, I'd just throw it at it now, and fucking it'll be mint, you know. But you know, we're young as fuck, so.
Like, there's a lot of things I want to get right now,
man.
but I can't.
Things.
It's
like
it's annoying. Like I want if I had money right now, I'd get a DJ deck.
Yeah, bro.
Just because I've listened to music probably from the womb, straight up.
Yeah, probably,
like,
bro.
so
putting headphones on the fucking bump.
I've been music affiliated for my whole life, and I think I'd be really good at it.
Yeah.
But I have to wait a little bit because I got other shit to obviously pay for, like New Year's plans, like
fucking R&B,
so yeah,
fucking all that kind of shit. Yeah,
so I'm kind of excited because I think the next probably 6-7 years of our lives will probably be the biggest.
Yeah, it's definitely what makes you who you are in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. From 19 to
the building blocks.
From 19 to 26, every single person we've known is going to be completely different.
Yeah,
they're gonna either have a family, which is going to be trippy. What they've always wanted to do, maybe they'll be doing.
Already people we know that are our age that has kids.
Yeah,
think about that. That's fucking crazy. Like I couldn't even think about that. That's fucking outrageous.
I saw someone walking their kid the other day, and I was like, "That kid has hair on its head." Like, I was like, "How long have you had that?"
Fuck, man,
nothing.
It doesn't even have a soft spot on its head anymore.
But really cool. She loves it. Like but I can't see myself having a kid at this age. There's too much stuff going on already that I don't have the responsibility to look after a kid. When do you reckon you'll have kids?
Fucking late
30?
30s.
Yeah.
30s.
I'd say,
Even if I like, that's the thing, and that's a question because like even with our generation, it's no even telling that I would even want kids in the future
Hard.
because of the world that we could be living in. I'm pretty optimistic on
That's true.
on if I think things are gonna get better with the people that are coming through the woodworks, like people like me and you and people that I know that are great people, you know. I like to think that there's a lot of people out there like that, and we're just gonna make the world a better place just by flushing out the old and putting in the new with the new ideas and the progressive attitude, you know. That's my optimism, but there's definitely the underlying aspects in life that it could go south and shit could hit the fan, and like with the way that the environment's been treated, I don't even know if I would want to bring
a kid
another kid into the world, you know.
I could see how you think that,
Yeah,
but I think if I was madly in love with someone,
definitely.
and let's say she's hot as fuck, right? Just think
the combination of genetics to make a little beast, you know.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
And let's say it's a guy. Girl, don't care, but if it's a guy,
you'll love them equally. But like honestly, I want boys. But if there was a girl, I'd love them as equal. I'd love them just as much as I would as a guy. You know. Yeah,
but
definitely.
like my dad tells me so many stuff where he's like, yeah, I used to do the same thing, and it's kind of like, how trippy would it be to see someone that's like you were there, you were at that stage, and he's doing exactly what you used to do, like the same ways. Maybe he
because like this shit that gets passed through genetically, like attributes and like personality things that it's definitely like, wow, you're so much like your father kind of thing.
Yeah. And when you're young and someone says that, you're like, I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's like, I can see how I would want that for this little dude to do shit that I used to do.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a cool, warm feeling that I would like it. I'd definitely like it in the future, but
it's a fucked up
world. Definitely it's a unpredictable world.
It is. It's okay. So I'm just switching it up quickly.
Yeah.
So what generation would you say is the most influential in like what they've done to the world? Like
influential.
Like what
generation.
I mean. Like what I mean. Like so, in the late 60s.
Okay.
They fucking went to the moon.
So
that's
pretty. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Big. That's crazy, but that doesn't really help us.
It didn't, but
it inspires people though.
In technology eyes, what generation would you say has done the most?
Okay, so I'd say the generation of the Bill Gates and the Steve Jobs and the internet.
So like the 90s.
90s,
like,
early 90s, from the 90s onwards, because the invention of the internet is unparalleled to anything that's happened in this world.
Literally.
The amount of information that's dispersed around that we can you got your phone right next to you. If I had a question right now, all you need to do is just type it into your phone and fucking look it up, and would be answering the question in 10 seconds. That could never happen 20 years ago.
Yeah. And I'm
20 years ago. 25 years ago. Couldn't happen. You have to go to the library.
Yeah, and read a book.
And no one's going to do that. You know?
Back
you
then
can
you
have
had
arguments now, and if people are saying bullshit, you'd be like, nah, I can Google it up. Like, this is what it is. You know, but back then when someone was talking bullshit, you'd be like,
I'll see you next week.
I
see you next week. I need to go to the library.
Yeah, bro. And half of them wouldn't be like, fucking agree to disagree. I don't know. None of us know, kind of thing. There's a lot of, like, the art of being a con man kind of died out as the internet came through, because a lot of people used to like go around knocking on doors fucking trying to sell people bullshit, right? But now that people can like look up stuff and like really confirm stuff, people aren't falling for shit like that anymore, man.
Yeah, like, cause I asked my grandparents, I was like, so like, would you say your generation was the best? And she's like, oh, fuck yeah, like, definitely. And I was just like, why? And she's like, well, like, it wasn't as many drugs. We have like
that's a big mindset thing.
And I was just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And she was just like we used to actually see the world in a much better and raw way than what I do. And she's like, yeah, she was just saying how her generation was the best, and I'm just saying.
But think about all the racism and all the fucking war and all the fucking horrible shit that people used to do to each other back then.
And
not saying that we don't do horrible shit now, but it's significantly less.
Yeah. And I asked my mum. She said the same thing. Her generation definitely. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess if you've lived in a generation and you've lived your life, you're gonna think that is the best.
And you have your memories and your.
But I would definitely say, because I wouldn't classify myself as a 90s kid.
No, neither.
I'm 99. That's not 90s.
Yeah, I'm 2000. I'm not 90s.
I
didn't even get that fucking label. Yeah, fuck
that's
that
not.
shit.
So it's not a 90s kid, but I think someone that's, let's say, born in the 19.
My brothers are 90s kids.
Well, how?
Pretty much, because they grew up during the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my sister was 94.
My older brothers are
94.
But there's 20 years difference between me and my brother, right?
The youngest, like.
My
eldest. Sorry, yeah.
Okay. So he was 1980. Yeah, 1980. He was born, right?
Fuck.
1980, and by the time he was 10, he was in the 90s, and just kind of grasping and being a real human, you know, just being like talking and like being like, oh yeah, now. But everything that happened during the 90s, he had a legit perspective and legit like whole this is happening, and actually could process it and remember it now if you ask them something about it, you know.
Yeah.
My brother was I had a conversation with my brother. I have twin brothers, right? Sometimes I get them confused with the way with talking to them.
Yeah.
So I think either it could have been Ryan, it could have been Carl, I could have been talking to, because we were both drunk at the same time. So he was talking about about 9/11. About being in America. He was in America when 9/11 happened. About how they wheeled in the fucking tube set TV and showed the classes everything that was going on before the fucking second plane even hit. They saw the second plane hit the fucking building. It was all this kind of it's like he got this perspective of a culture and an era that is completely unparalleled and nothing we could comprehend. You know, it's completely different.
Yeah.
You know. Back when in the time where they had no mobile phones, if they wanted to call my parents, they'd have to set up a specific time, because it's different times. We're a day ahead of fucking Americans. They have to set up a certain times and fucking call on a phone, and you can't be on the phone for too long because it costs so much money, kind of thing. There's no free. It wasn't as free communication as it is right now.
Like, you should ask your brother about the 99s.
99s?
99.
Just millennium.
Just 1999. Just because your brother would have been what? 19, 20? In the
17, 18.
Bro, I reckon if you ask your brother about that, just tell him that, brother, tell me about 1999. I reckon he's going to put a smile on his face.
Because he'd talk about the music.
Yeah, music, that's...
The culture.
Music.
What people wore, what people thought was good, what people... Health, fitness, all this kind of shit that's completely changed.
I saw this video. It's kind of like a heavy psychedelic tech rave kind of thing. So it was just on Facebook. Came out in 1997. It happened in 1997. Sorry. And it's just funny to see what everyone was wearing.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like if I wore what he was wearing, I would look sick. Now, I would just look richer as fuck.
It's kind of funny how things recycle.
Yeah, and then you see things that literally, like Adidas track pants. Yeah, some guy was literally wearing the exact same, and it's like, holy fuck! Like fashion doesn't change that much. Pants? Yeah,
those were a thing back ages ago.
Fuck yeah, it just came back.
Ages ago, they came back. My mom was like, "Oh, those are the thing we used to wear those." I was like, "What? You used to wear those?" I was like, "Fuck, my mother's." She's beautiful. She just fucking turned 60. She turned 60 on the 9th.
Yeah.
And that's think about that. With my situation, it's weird. Because, as you were saying about, your dad, who was a smoker, and he used to play with you for, 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
My dad quit smoking when probably started around 13, Fucking quit when my brother Blake was born. He was like, that day, oh, nah, I'm not going to smoke anymore.
That's mean.
That was his day, And being older, just being older, and he's not really looked after himself real properly his whole life, you know.
Yeah.
He's kind of been overweight for a long time, you know, and that's probably just because of the way they back then. I feel like you had the mindset, it was like, yeah, you're young, you be resilient, you do all the things you do, and then when you go old, you get nice and fat, and you fucking sit around all day and do nothing, kind of thing, you know. That's kind of what they were raised to believe, you know.
Yeah.
But he could only play with me as a kid for the same amount of time, but not because he was a smoker, but because he was too old and wasn't fit enough. You know, he never put his physical health in perspective in the way that if I get fit and like take care of myself, then I can actually play with my kids, you know. And I don't blame him for that. You know, I'm lucky enough to have 3 older brothers that I had that with them. You know, I've learned just as much things from my dad as from my brothers. You know,
Definitely.
I learned from their mistakes, and I learned from there's 3 generations almost between me and my dad, my brothers, and then me. That's pretty much 3 generations.
You would say you have more than one dad, basically.
Yeah, and father figures.
Yeah, that's the right word.
I definitely, because I can look for advice from different people. There's some certain things that I'll ask one brother that I won't ask another brother.
Yeah.
And certain things I'll ask dad that I won't ask my brothers. Or and same with like my mom and my dad and everything like that.
Like,
it's an interest. Everyone has like a different upbringing and different like situations, and it's interesting to see what comes out of what the person is at the end. We can end this if you want. It's been here for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm enjoying it. I don't care.
Yeah, we can. I knew how long this is. I can check.
But yeah.
Yeah, this has been good. I didn't even know how long it's been. I feel like it's been fucking a while.
Probably an hour.
But I feel like this is good. No, this is a good time to end it, I reckon, because we got more to talk about in the future, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is a good. I feel like this is a good start.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, thank you everyone for listening. If you are listening, if you are listening, this is a startup as fuck. You know?
If you just left halfway, fuck you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, even if you clicked on this, fucking nice. If you made it to the end, fucking send me a message, because like I want to know if you fucking made it, bro.
I'll call you. You're a good cunt.
Yeah, bro. Fucking follow for a follow.
Alright.
But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, fucking, you know, share it around, you know, fucking, it's all about, what this is about is just about perspective from people our age, and like the way that we perceive the world. And I know there's a lot of ideas and a lot of things that we want to say and get out to the world that a lot of adults don't really think about, and they don't really understand. And we have our own voice, and we got to use our platform that, you know, the internet gives us a platform to like speak our mind and to utilize this. And think about how many opportunities that 2 people can sit down and have a conversation like this. I bet this is the first time you've ever had a conversation like this in a long time, with just 2 people where you just sit down and focus on each other.
Fuck yeah.
Without phones. You know, you got called in the middle of the thing. Yeah. Fucking we're talking right now. So like it's interesting, because like in the world that we live in, this doesn't happen. You know, and I feel like it's important, and that's something I learned from circling back to the front when I'm talking about Joe Rogan. He says this about this kind of stuff, and like I'm a big believer in that kind of shit, you know. Okay. So I feel like this is good for our minds. You know, it's good for creating new perspectives and ideas, you know. And it's definitely beneficial.
I think the thing about doing this kind of thing is putting who's ever listening into kind of our brains.
Exactly. Exactly. Perspective, letting them know how we think. Yeah.
And that could honestly, like you said, you've learned so much from it. And I can so see how that could be for someone maybe on the other side of the planet that lives in a completely different environment. This is honestly interesting.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've, you've learned a couple of things that I fucking said.
Yeah.
Like, all this
Hell
shit
yeah.
that I've fucking said right now is just from things I've learned from the internet,
Exactly.
podcasts, kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, and like I feel like a lot of people need to know this shit. You know,
Okay.
and this is how I feel to do my part on giving this out to a broader audience.
Because I've always thought about that. I know we're gonna try to end it, but I have to
Yeah,
say
no,
this
it's
quickly.
okay. No, wrap
So,
it
like-
up. No, it's fine.
So like
Keep going if you need to go.
everything that I normally do or talk. So let's say if I'm just with people in my car, just sitting there, I would like sometimes just put my phone there and just record, just because like I think like the best things that happen, like the best things you say, the funniest jokes, is actually
Comes out of the moment.
It comes out the moment,
Yeah, definitely.
and like, I always want to document something, and this is kind of like a way of documenting,
Exactly.
just talking,
Yeah.
and that's sick because I just love talking to people. I can talk to
Yeah,
people all day.
exactly.
So this is like.
That's why I wanted you to do this with me, because
Yeah.
you're one of the guys I know that we can hit it back. We can go
Huh.
back and forth, and we did it very well. We didn't have a pause the whole time.
Yeah.
we weren't.
We
being
just
like,
yarned. We literally just yarned.
Exactly.
And it's
This
me.
is exactly, that's what it is. It's not like a structured podcast. It's two friends sitting
Huh.
down talking about
Yeah.
the world, talking about shit that interests us, and that's what
Yeah.
it's about.
That's me.
So yeah,
All right.
sweet as.
Peace out.
Thanks guys for listening. Have a great day.
Oh, I need to pee.
Fucking do it.
Leave that in it.
Yeah. Man.